Hey y'all, it's Hope at Crafty Hope, and welcome. I am still working on Junk Journal January. I'm just gonna, as you can tell if you followed this, just sharing some of my favorite pages or spreads that I've made throughout that Junk Journal January process. This was a challenge that came from Meg Journals. I will link her below, and it was 31 days of prompts to kind of start off the year. She does it again in July as well, or at least has been the last several years. So if you're interested in this, I'm sure you could go ahead and use the January prompt list, but know that there's another one coming up in July, most likely. Anyway, if you need more information about Junk Journal January, definitely check out Meg. And the prompt for today, which is day 16, is flow. And I am starting these 2 pages with some collage, partly because that page on the left was just a brown paper sack, fairly thin and floppy, and needed a bit more structure. And the page on the right was also kind of thin. So I'm just kind of blending these together, adding another layer of paper on here using my Oohoo glue stick. And that also is going to give me a little bit of texture but visual texture as well as actual texture, because the layering and the tears and all of that gives some texture, but then the text and lines and everything also have some visual texture. I'm talking far too fast. All right, that's because I've got the sped way up, because y'all understand how collage works, I'm pretty sure. So I have all of that down. I'm just checking some of the edges because for some reason that glue stick dries or something before I can get it all down. And then I've got my Liquitex Professionals white gesso. I've got it in a small bottle from the Dollar Tree just because that's easier on my desk than the huge bottle I have. And using my small brayer to move that out. And I love using the brayer. It gives some organic shapes and lines and additional texture because it kind of like puckers, I guess is the best way to put it. The crease there in the center is a bit difficult to get to, so I'm going to do that on my own. Okay, so for flow, the prompt, I thought about this, and I know how hard it is to get into an actual flow state, and I couldn't guarantee that would happen. So instead, I thought about my materials and realized I have some high flow acrylic paints. I have 2 of the golden high flow acrylic. So there, flow. And this one is indigo, and then the other one I have is the Quinacridone nickel azo gold. So, and these I hardly ever use because they are precious. I have 2 of them. I need to use them. So I've put a little bit of that indigo in my palette. Using a wet paintbrush, I am putting that on my page. Now, these high flow acrylics are basically like an ink, y'all. I don't know what makes them different in Golden's eyes, but I'm sure somebody out there has that information. So I put a little bit you saw at the top of that page, and then used my distress sprayer to spritz on some water, and I'm letting that high flow acrylic kind of flow around on my page and just moving it around. I will connect the 2, I believe, just so that it doesn't look like it's 2 separate pages. I'm kind of joining the spread, so it's, yeah. And I love a blue, so yeah, this is super fun, but you can see how much water I'm adding. This is getting super wet, so I will absolutely have to dry this here in a minute. Yeah, because I'm doing nothing. And there, I think, yeah, I used my finger. I wasn't liking some of the sharp edges in a couple areas, but you can see how this picked up, like soaked in where some of the gesso is acting as a resist, and where some of the paper and lines still show. You're getting a lot of really yummy texture, and I absolutely love that. So from there, I put a little bit of the Quinacridone nickel azo gold into my palette, and I've got a fairly small brush, and I'm going to do tiny, tiny lines with it. Yeah. I don't know why it's not going to flow the way it should flow, but I'm basically using it as an ink because it is super high flow. I did try spritzing it there, you see, to see if any of it would move, but because I'm putting such a little amount down, it's drying pretty quickly. I am recording this on February 1st. I'm not sure when this video is going up, but I'm kind of feeling a little lost after 31 days of a prompted challenge. I got up this morning and was like, what am I going to do? So I will admit, I did do a junk journal page, but I didn't use prompts. I didn't turn the camera on. I just kind of played a little bit, and it was good. The page is great. It's fine, and I'm hoping to continue this daily art journal, junk journal practice, and that's part of the reason I participated in Junk Journal January, was to give me kind of a kicking off point for the rest of the year, because I definitely want to add art in every day. Of course, the 100-day project is coming up. I think the start date is February 18th. Definitely go check out. I will try to find the link for the 100-day project below so you can learn more about that if you don't know about it. So, and I haven't decided what my project's going to be, y'all. I'm normally like at least got an inkling of an idea, and this year I have none. So I'm not sure. Actually, y'all, an idea just came to me. Let me write something down. Okay. I think I just have one. Yeah, okay, so y'all saw I pulled out a piece of yearbook, a strip of yearbook photos, tore that down a little bit, found a piece of fabric in my stash, tore it down also to kind of back those yearbook photos, and then I have pulled out my handy dandy yogurt cup full of instant coffee. Now this is dried up, so I just add more water to it, spritz it with that little bit of water, and reconstitute it so I can paint a little bit with it. I find this adds a beautiful distressed look to my pages, and you see I also splattered a bit of that coffee around as well. Spritz it a little bit more and coming in and drying it. Once that is dry, I'm looking at it. I think I ended up having to dry it again, y'all, actually. So I'm looking at my little stack of fabric and yearbook guys, trying to decide what this page needs. And I felt like it needed some movement. So I'm going to look at it, see my fingers are tapping, I'm thinking, and my favorite way to add movement to a page is just taking a mechanical pencil, usually one of these chunky Papermate pencils, and scribbling around on the page. And that gives me kind of a flow on the page, some movement. And I'm going to think again. Excuse me, y'all. I'm still suffering with a little bit of a froggy throat from my cold. And this is where things really get interesting. I decided to add more texture and kind of a bold statement on here with a hand-carved stamp. I carve my stamps from erasers, so you can tell that's just a pink eraser. And I grabbed my Stays On because I wanted to make sure if I did add anything else flowy on here that these marks wouldn't move. So I'm stamping these with my black Stays On and making sure I get the left side of the page and the right side of the page. I knew I couldn't get across the middle of the page, and I really just, I don't know, it just felt right to do these on the edges. And it really gave that black. I needed that balance of something dark, something light, and that's, it felt right. So to bring in some more black, I am using Black Soot Distress ink and an ink blender and inking up the edges of this yearbook photo just to kind of finish it up, give it a little more age, add some shadow to it. I did use my fingers there to kind of smear it a little bit so that kind of soaked in. Yearbooks tend to be a bit glossy, so I didn't want that ink just kind of sitting on it. And then what do? Y'all, I don't know. I'm so sorry. I keep clearing my throat. I decided I needed a few more of those stamps on here. Yep, gonna bring those down that right page a little bit more and across it a little bit. Like I said, it doesn't go across the middle at any point. The blue is what crosses the middle for me. So and the brown, the coffee. So, and then I painstakingly, y'all, this took me a while to pick out a phrase from a large print novel. I actually picked out one phrase, put it down, and decided I did not like it. So I went and found another. And this one says, he knew he couldn't lie there. And it makes no sense. It really, really doesn't. It does nothing about flow. It doesn't really kind of go with these three guys, but I don't know. It felt right to me, so it's going in. The junk journals, they don't have to make sense. It's about getting in your journal and just playing and experimenting and finding what you like. So I thought this was kind of perfect. I will get these glued down, and from there, I think that's it for this page. For this spread. If you have any questions about this, about junk journal January or July, let me know. I'll answer what I can. And I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, thumbs up, subscribe, all those things, and I will see y'all later with more of these for sure, as well as other things that I create. I'll see y'all later. Bye.